I think the single most important word a writer can ask is why. In this video, I want to show you how to use that question on yourself, on your characters, on your plot, because I think it might be the most useful tool we have when we're trying to figure out where to go next. If you watched my last video, we talked about cutting through digital noise to actually start a writing habit. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it below, but this one picks up right where that left off. So you started writing, maybe you did a few exercises, got some momentum going, and then you opened your document on day 2 and thought, well, now what? Where do I even go from here? Don't worry, that feeling is very much normal. And I think asking why in a few different ways is how we get past that. Before we get into the craft side of this, I want to talk about the most important why first, the one we ask ourselves. Let me use an analogy, as I so often love to do. If a great story is gold, the question why, I think, is your pickaxe. It's what digs down into everything until you find something real. And yes, I know you probably don't actually mine gold with a pickaxe anymore. There's probably specialized tools or whatever. It's an analogy, just stay with me for a minute. In a world absolutely full of writing advice, formulas, structures, conflicting opinions, even well-meaning ones, knowing deep down why you're writing, it can block out a lot of that noise. It becomes a compass. And when you're not sure which direction to go, you come back to it. I want to do a quick exercise together that might change how you think about your writing forever. Big promise, I know, but you don't need anything to do this exercise. It'll work wherever you are. All we're going to do is ask ourselves, why do I write? Your mind has probably already given you the headline answer first, something like, I want to be a writer, or I want to be published. That's the top layer, and it might very well be true, but I bet there's something underneath it. So when you have that first answer, you've got that headline, ask again, why do you want that? And when you have that answer, ask again and go as far as you can. I'm going to give you a moment to reflect, maybe pause here if you want to really do it properly, and then I'll share what I came up with for me when I did this. I'm going to be honest about that too. Potentially a bit too honest. So pause to reflect for a moment. Okay, here's mine. And fair warning, it gets a little dark towards the end. So I started with, why do I write? The answer was to make a living. I'm an editor and a writing content creator, for want of a way better term. So this is genuinely my job. Why? Well, because I wasn't happy in my old corporate job. Why? Because I wanted to do something more meaningful. Why? Because life is short and meaning is hard to find and seemingly getting harder. I want to help writers find meaning in what they do. Why? Because one day I will die and I want to leave something behind. Apologies. Wasn't quite expecting to go all the way there, but there it is. That one about meaning, by the way, about being a positive force for writers in a world that seems to throw endless distractions to our creativity, that's the one I most often come back to. That's what gives me energy when I sit down to make a video or put something useful together. It's my compass needle. I'm using that direction right now to build a place for writers that will genuinely help you get started and get your feet under you as a writer. I'll mention that more at the end. If you hit pause a moment ago and you reflected on why you write, if you found that purpose, or even just a small version of it, you now have something to write from, a fixed point. And I think stories built from a fixed point tend to have more stability to them. Here's another thing that I love about the question why. You can turn it outward too. Once you've done it on yourself, try doing it on your characters. Say you've got a detail about your character. Maybe they always carry one specific item across a post-apocalyptic landscape. Why? Ask it the same way you just asked it of yourself. Keep going, keep digging for gold. You'll find a driver in them, something that explains them from the inside out. The sneaky difference is, though, that unlike your own why, which has to be authentic and has to be actually true to how you really feel, your character's why can be shaped. You can steer it. You're building a person and you get to decide where the digging leads. That's hugely useful when you're trying to create someone a reader can really invest in. And of course, one question won't conjure a fully formed character just like that, but it will give you a direction to start digging in. And don't worry if your story is more plot-driven than character-driven. Same tool, we just apply it slightly differently. A plot is really just a series of problems or complications that characters have to work through to reach a goal, and why is a brilliant question for unpicking those. So if you only know how your story ends, for example, your hero standing over the defeated villain, ask why. Why did that happen? Maybe there was a chase that led up to it. The hero cornered them. Why? Because the hero had figured out where the villain was. Why? And so on. You can use this to work backwards from the ending and find a logical chain of events. Then plan forward again with what you now know. And again, of course, it won't give you a perfect watertight plot in one sitting, but it'll give you options and it'll make you think, and that's usually enough to keep you writing and engaged with telling a story. It all comes back to the same thing. Whether you're asking it of yourself, your characters, or your story, you're looking for depth, for that thing underneath the surface that makes everything feel like it means something. When I think about why I make these videos, that honest and slightly grim answer I gave you earlier, it actually helps. It reminds me that little wobbles along the way don't matter too much. The foundation is solid. I know why I'm doing this, and I know why I'm going to keep doing this. And I want that for your writing too. Find your why and let it be a thing that you come back to when you need it. I'm building something right now specifically designed to get writers through their first 30 days and then beyond. It covers the foundations of novel writing your way. No formulas, just like the videos, really, while you also build a routine you can actually stick to alongside other writers who are doing the same thing. After that, you'll be supported as you keep writing and keep strengthening those new skills. There's more information about all of this on my website, link below, and you can sign up to be notified when it's ready if you like. I'm really excited about it though. More on that in upcoming videos too, but take a second, reflect on why you're doing this. Ask yourself that really useful 3-letter word, why, and you'll be surprised where it might lead you. Thanks so much for watching. As always, happy writing.